everybody, it's Caitlin Cook, and you're listening to 5 Words, the podcast. This is the podcast where me and my co-host, Sean Patton, have on a guest, and the guest is going to tell us a story, a real story, something that happened to them. But before they tell us that story, we say, wait. Why don't you just tell us 5 key words from the story, and then we're going to tell you what we think this story is based on those 5 words and what we know about the guest. And you guys know, we always fucking nail it. That's enough information to get the story right. No, we never do, but it makes for a good story, and then the guest tells us the real, true story. So that's the premise of the podcast. And Sean and I had actually recorded a really fun intro for this episode together in which we shot the shit and plugged our upcoming shows. But of course, all of those upcoming shows are now canceled and the world has gone to shit. But I don't want this podcast to be about that. I don't want to freak you guys out. I know that you're probably listening to this because you're tired of hearing the news all the time, or you're trying to not feel so anxious about the state of the world. I know personally I'm self-isolating in New York City right now, and even when there's not a pandemic and I find myself trapped in our apartment for days on end, I like to listen to podcasts to take my mind off things, to have a laugh, to feel like I'm a part of a conversation. So I do want to get straight to the episode. Just a couple things first. As I said, I'm currently self-isolating at our apartment in Brooklyn in New York. Sean is very unfortunately stuck in San Diego right now. He was there for a leg of a tour. And now we're trying to figure out the safest way to get him back to New York. But we will still release episodes of the podcast every week. We have a couple banked, and then we're going to pivot to using Zoom or a video conferencing platform. Unfortunately, that does mean that the audio quality may suffer a little bit. And for that, I'm truly sorry. But we want to keep delivering great, funny stories from great comedians all around the world to you every week. What else? Oh, okay. So Sean and I and a ton of other comedians have had a lot of tours and upcoming shows canceled, which means all of this money that we were depending on coming in is not. So my kind of solution to that is a little bit twofold. First, I'm going to design a bunch of merch for me and Sean for both 5 Words and us separately. That'll be going up on Sean's website. That's me, SeanPatton.com. My own website, thecaitlincook.com. And then I've just bought the domain for the podcast, which will be 5wordspodcast.com. So go check out our merch there. We'll also post it on the Instagram. Contribute what you can. I know everyone's struggling right now, but it would really help us out. Also, because so many comedy shows have been canceled and no one wants to gather anymore because that would be very unsafe, a lot of comedy shows are starting to pivot towards potentially doing live stream shows. That will be the case for Good God. This is the usually monthly show that I produce with Shane Torres, Tom Takar, and Phoebe Bottoms in Bushwick at the Sultan Room. But I think we're going to pivot to weekly. We're going to live stream it. I'm just gathering information right now, but I bought the domain for goodgodcomedy.com. That's our Instagram handle as well. So look for updates there. We were supposed to have on Janine Garofalo and Joe Pera and Joe Firestone. In the past, we've had David Cross and Alana Glazer and great New York City comics. So we're going to keep that going. What's good about this live streaming and sort of video conferencing is that we can get really big and international people that just want to create really funny content for everyone that's stuck at home. So keep your eyes focused on that. I won't talk too much more. This episode is really super fun. It's before everything went to shit, so we really won't talk about it, and we're just going to have fun with the amazing Raanan Hershberg. If you want to check out more of his stuff, he's got his website, but also he just made his late night debut on James Corden, and then he also released an album that I did the artwork for called Downhill Ever Since. So go look up Raanan, and please enjoy this episode.
I can't do it. I can't. Wait.
You're doing
That's
it.
pretty good.
But some people can make it like.
Where it sounds like a droplet.
There we go.
There we go. Nice.
Oh, wow.
And it's out of the park and a grand slam.
Yep.
I was trying to impersonate. I like to impersonate inanimate situations,
At the top of the podcast.
which I don't know if a home run / grand slam would be considered
That's not
inanimate.
inanimate.
What's a grand slam? Isn't that a thing at Denny's?
A grand slam is when you
Yes,
have
that's when
also that. It's when you have someone on every base, and then the person hitting hits a home run, so you get 4.
Oh. Is it named after the Denny's meal? Or
No.
which came first?
Denny's came after.
I don't know about that. I'm willing to bet that.
All right, well, you fact check.
I'm more of a diner guy than a sports guy, so I
Yeah.
you can tell.
Yeah.
I have more diners and sports, so I only know I only know my sports stuff from diner menu.
Also,
items.
that.
I mean, diner sports.
Yeah, short stack.
You know?
That's a position,
Short
right?
stack.
They're all sports shit, right? Yeah.
Belgian waffle.
I mean,
I've learned all my sports from being drunk and going to different, Waffle House.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know nothing about football, but I feel like Belgian waffle would be a play.
A play?
Yeah.
Like a Belgian waffle?
like the
Yeah.
guy at the quarterback would be like, Blue 16.
Yeah.
Belgian waffle on 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
Yeah.
then it would be like people interweaving with each other
Yeah, I could see that.
and acting Belgian.
But then you have the sports bar.
Yeah.
Which they don't really have like BW3 or whatever. You know BW3? You look like you don't know what I'm talking about.
A BMW? No.
The wings place. BW3.
Oh,
What's it called?
Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah, what did I say? BW3.
BW3. No, I mean,
Is that
that's
correct? Wait,
I mean, if
Buffalo
you're listening,
Wild-
Buffalo Wild Wings, you should change it to
Yeah,
BW3
right? Is
because
that where you pick
abbreviation is in.
Buffalo Wild Wings and then
We have
go eat
off-
it
yeah.
in your BMW.
But they don't have sports things, but all their menu items are like calling you a pussy, kind of. Like they're all just like cursing at you. They're like, "You're not ready for these wings,
Yeah.
homo." You know?
This is the you're not worthy plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like-
have not been to a Buffalo Wild Wings maybe since we first met 6 years ago.
Is that where you met?
No,
No.
but there was one time we were in Madison, Wisconsin, leaving hungover. We had brunch at a place that put beef jerky in the fucking Bloody Mary. It was delicious.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
those
The
before,
old
yeah.
fashioned.
Old fashioned in Madison.
Wisconsin.
And we left that place and walked to where we were catching a bus back to Milwaukee to get a flight because it's expensive to fly in and out of Madison.
Yeah.
And this was like an hour and a half later after we just eaten brunch and we had like an hour to kill. And we're like, oh, look, there's a Buffalo Wild Wings right there. And we were that kind of hungover where it's
Yeah.
like, well, let's just eat
We
again.
need more fried fish.
Oh, you did the like in
Yeah.
Louis,
Yeah, it was
the
like a
bang
double-
bang.
Yeah, the bang bang.
You did
Yeah.
a bang bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought a bang bang was alone, so it's not that bad because there's no one there to. Like, it's kind of tough with another person because you
Yeah.
both are.
Bang, 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 bang.
You're both judging each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your judgment of each other
And
cancels
then the
each other
menu.
out.
I guess so,
There you go.
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But the menu is judging you there, is what you're saying. The
Right,
menu's
right. The
like,
menu.
Fuck you, you can't handle this shit.
Yeah,
hot
this is too
sauce."
spicy for you, queer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of gay bashing.
I feel like that should be a thing. Diner sports.
Diners
Yeah.
like sports.
Like how is that not a thing yet? Like competitive eating, ESPN. Like I know it's come on, we've seen the hot dog eating competition. It's boring at
Yeah.
this plate.
Yeah.
At this plate. This plate is boring. How about a fucking like
How did the hot dog thing start? Was just someone who likes to eat a lot. Like I want to be involved in sports too.
I
So
don't
we'll do the
know,
hot
dude.
dog
That shit
competition.
grosses me the fuck out.
Yeah.
I understand why it's hot dogs because I think it's whoever designated it to be hot dogs was like, well, let's just make them eat the thing that will kill them.
But there's no winner there. I feel like the winner is the biggest loser.
That Chinese,
Yeah.
but isn't it an Asian guy
Every
who's
time?
super fucking thin?
It's often a tiny Asian person.
Yeah.
Really?
And he
Is that
does
the
like
fat guy?
he does like
No.
stretches like during eating to like loosen up.
Oh.
It's
It's
thinking
a
about
weird
that
world.
disgusts me. But I would
But you want to start diner sports.
well,
That's gross.
because the idea of diner sports is you take fucking normal people and you be like, here, order hash for example, at Waffle House.
Waffle House. Yeah.
You spin a wheel, and it's like, all right, you spin a wheel, the hash browns, and they're going to be scattered, covered, smunked, chunked, topped, diced, noodled, peppered, and knieveled, and bam, and then the two people get the plate of again spattered, covered, chunked,
Yeah.
tied, diced, peppered, knieveled, and weaseled, and noodled, and they both get a plate of these. And they have to fucking competitive eat, but category by category. So then, like, you get the plate, your hash browns are loaded with all things, and you spin another wheel. It's like, all right, noodled, and then they have to eat all the noodled parts.
But I think
out
what
first.
you're saying is just fat people eating really quickly at a
Yeah.
diner. I think that's already
But
happening.
strategic, yeah, but make a sport out of it.
No.
Put some money.
You know, it kind of already happens. I'm sure two fat people are always ordering the same kind of hash browns at the same time. That's
Yeah.
probably happening, but you're saying make a TV show.
I
out
want
of it.
mine Knievel.
Well,
Knievel.
pitch it to True TV.
That's when they launch
Yeah,
it
right?
at you.
They'd love that.
Pitch it to True TV. They like that kind of stuff.
I feel like if you walk into True TV and pitch anything, if anyone pitches anything else to True TV, the building might implode. I think they don't want to say it.
They
True
love pitch
TV
meetings.
does not want to say it. They don't want to say, please don't pitch us anything else. We can't do anything else.
I
Yeah.
pitched them
if
like
it's not Impractical Jokers,
yeah, I
which is
pitched them
great.
30 things that they're like, yeah, we don't really do those kind of things. Do you have the idea for reruns of Impractical Jokers?
That is fucking
They're just
hilarious,
waiting for
dude.
people to say that.
You walk into True TV and you're like, I got a pitch. All right, here we go.
Reruns of Impractical Jokers.
Oh, that's
You're gonna do it, and then you tell people they did it. I told them, and they did it. All right, I'm an
You
influencer.
should actually pitch. You know how like Walking Dead has the Talking Dead. You
Yes.
should do that, but watching
You know what
reruns
I-
of
Walking
Impractical
Impra-
Jokers,
yeah,
but
talking-
commentary.
You know
on
what
it.
I love
Yeah, that's
so
great.
much about The Walking Dead, about Talking Dead, is the fact that I think The Walking Dead is going on season 9, maybe,
Yeah.
and it's been horse shit, garbage, terrible since around season 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. However, because that show,
I would say it's been horseshit the whole time, but that's another.
I don't know. I
discussion.
enjoyed. I actually.
I never watched it.
I enjoyed season 2, and what I enjoyed the most about it was all the people who were like, nothing happens. They're just on a farm the whole time. And it's like, now I know everything I need to know about you is that you don't pay attention to character development.
Right,
Or
right,
like
right.
emotional story. Because
Yeah, they
while
always-
a lot happens in season 2. Like friendships are splintered, enemies are revealed. you know?
Right,
Like,
right.
Yeah.
I think the show is good at first, but at a certain point, it just became masochistic garbage.
Oh, it's
where
dog
just
shit.
Like, you're just like, which favorite character of yours is going to get brutally murdered?
Well, even if
and
it's not that,
eaten?
it's like, oh, we're at a plot point, and instead of figuring it out in the writer's room, we'll just throw some zombies at it.
Right. And also, at a certain point with that show, you're like, this is never going to end. That's the
Yeah.
feeling.
Oh, it
I
hasn't.
had.
It's never
So
gonna
I was like, you want to watch a show feeling if it's
Right.
going to end at some point. With that, I'm like, it's the same thing over and over again. It's never going to end. They will never stop it, so I just stopped
And that's
watching.
what's fucking fantastic about those. People keep watching it. So The Talking Dead has to continue to exist.
Yeah.
And it's funny to watch Chris Hardwick and guests of the show pretend, like do their best to act like whatever the fuck that episode was good. It's like, so man, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Michonne goes in to a boarded up gas station.
Which we've seen 400 times,
But,
but, this time.
but I was like, no, this time it's got to be different, right? Because she's going in and she has her sword in her left hand. So you know she knows something that the audience doesn't know yet. The subtlety of that, and then and then there were just a bunch of zombies in there.
oh, I didn't see it coming.
And like no, and then the greatest part was while she was doing that, she didn't hear the horde of 900 zombies walking up behind her.
And that other scene that's incredible
Yeah.
where they go to a new town and it seems perfect and everyone's super
they
friendly.
figured it out in the
but
apocalypse.
It turns out
they're all psychos. Who,
I never saw it coming.
yeah, they bite each other's genitals off because that's where all the protein is.
Here's the rule with that show.
Yeah.
If anyone's friendly that you meet, they're going to eat you.
Kill them
later.
the moment they turn around.
Yeah. If they're suspicious, then they're good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it weird that I've never seen it, never
Yeah,
have
really?
wanted to see it, but this conversation made me want to watch it?
Actually,
Good for it.
like Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
I tell everyone, if you've never seen Game of Thrones, watch seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then stop. Stop.
Yeah.
There are some great episodes in season 5 and 6. It's not worth the rest of the bullshit. Season 7 and 8 are pure horseshit.
Not just stop,
Yeah.
kill yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna get better than that.
But I with Game of Thrones, it's that. With Walking Dead,
Yeah.
first 3 seasons is worth it.
Well, Game of Thrones is an interesting case because I was going to say the issue with Walking Dead and a lot of American shows is
Yeah.
they don't plan for the ending. They just pitch the first
Right.
season and then it gets big and they have to keep it going because it's making money.
Right.
Right.
And there's not a planned ending. Whereas the Brits usually do very well. They'll
Exactly.
1 or 2 seasons, then they're done. Game of Thrones.
And
a
also,
little bit different.
Yeah.
I
Because of the
I
books.
understand that like writing a TV show is incredibly difficult and requires a lot, and it's fucking hard to do. And whenever people bring up that argument when it comes to Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, I'm like, well, what about all the other TV shows that are awesome and successful that people have managed to pull off? Maybe just don't fucking force an idea and force a show to do 9 fucking seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
Breaking Bad did it in 5. You know, The Sopranos did it in 6. What was The Good Place? 3?
4.
4?
The Wire. The Wire.
The
5.
Wire. Well, The Wire was
Yeah.
going to go longer, but they condensed. Even their shittiest season is better.
Yeah.
Than most. And I mean, Fleabag 2.
Yeah.
Not only that, she don't
know?
want to do
Only
it.
she didn't want to do the second one.
Which goes back to your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine someone in America not wanting to do a second season. Isn't that crazy? Like the
Yeah.
idea of like someone going, we want you to do a second. Like I have to think about it.
Well, I think Watchmen. They
hold
just
on.
did that. They were like, we're not going to do another of HBO's Watchmen.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm like, great, don't do it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I think part of being a great writer is knowing when to stop the story and be like, this is done. And like I think that they're right. I don't blame the writers for Walking Dead,
Oh,
or
no.
I blame the fucking networks for being like, well, we got to do 6 more seasons, and then being
Right.
like, why though? It's already so great. Why can't we just stop here and we can all move on to something else?
And then when a show gets bad, you kind of feel like it wasn't that great to begin with. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? On
it
some
ruins
level,
the
it ruined.
beginning.
Yeah, I feel like Game of Thrones, as amazing as those first 4 seasons
Yeah.
are, I feel like as a whole show, it's a little hurt by the last couple seasons being so bad.
oh, dude,
It's
it
also
certainly
like there
is.
are
That's why I said
shows-
It's like the ending of a movie. It hurts the
Yeah.
whole movie.
There are shows that I haven't seen that people will recommend to me, and I will give it a go. But if it's something like Dexter or Weeds or like, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy, I guess is a good example, even though I watched that when I was a teenager. It's like, it just, when it goes off the rails, why do I want to get invested in these characters that like become so unlike who they originally were?
Sometimes
Just
it's-
non-believable.
By the way, I
Yeah.
think we all have a lisp.
Do I have a lisp?
I think you have a lisp too.
Do I have a lisp?
I definitely have a list.
And
You
I
definitely
definitely have a
might-
lisp. I think you do too.
Do I have a lisp?
What at the end?
Lisp.
No,
Aren't you
gotta
lisping?
Say,
Finally, I'm not just a white guy. I'm not just a straight white guy. I have a lisp.
Oh, trust me, it doesn't help.
The pain and struggle of having a lisp. I don't know if I have
No,
a
am I making it up? Sometimes
it's-
I project
think-
my lisp onto other people.
No.
Caitlin and I have been together for a while, and I sometimes think your lisp has rubbed itself off on me.
It's like
That sounds like your
herpes.
Contagious.
That the way I said it, it was like your lisp masturbates on my face. It rubs itself off on me. Wow, dude, I hope I have a lisp. I'm gonna develop a lisp.
Am I wrong?
No,
I'm not
it's-
trying to make you self-conscious.
What?
You do slightly.
I also don't
Is
want
that
you.
a lisp?
I'm not trying to make.
I don't. I have a feeling you're not too
Try it
self-conscious.
You shocked
As
me
you
into belching.
fart into the
I
microphone.
mean, we can cut this out if you don't feel comfortable.
No,
sharing,
I'm
but-
really
Well,
comfortable
how-
learning that I have a
Honestly,
lisp.
if you're not
teeth.
comfortable, I'm a little insulted. We have lisps, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
wait, you think it's my new teeth?
It's your new teeth.
They give
Oh,
me a-
you got new teeth?
Yeah.
I do have new teeth, yeah.
Oh, wow. We're getting, oh,
Do
wow.
I mean, it's been like 6 months. It's been the 6th month now.
The whole-
though. What are you talking about? I
the
don't
whole
know that.
thing?
The front 6 teeth are brand new.
Wow.
So if you've been one of the dozens upon dozens of fucking assholes who felt necessary to either contact me through social media or post on YouTube clips about how my front teeth are missing roughly 7 to 8 months ago, fuck you! Ha ha ha! Got new ones.
Wait, they were all missing?
My front 4 teeth were always small, but I'm a grinder. I grind my teeth in my
Oh.
sleep. I now have a mouthpiece. So over the years, I ground them down, and then late 2018, chipped 2 of them.
Okay.
And then it just looked like there was less teeth, and then early 2019, chipped a 3rd one. So then there was a point where it looked like I was missing my front 4 teeth.
You're an amputee.
I'm not an amputee. Amputee? Yeah. And then I finally just couldn't fucking take it anymore because it did. I noticed it.
Yeah.
And I was self-conscious about it. And I
It's
had
so weird because I never did.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it'd be more noticeable on someone that didn't have a mustache, but because
Right, and I knew
Yeah.
well, and
just
so I
didn't
fucking I was like I got to do this. I bit the bullet,
Ah.
which was hard to do with no front teeth.
Yeah.
and got new teeth, and I
That's
fucking
great.
but apparently they make me sound like fucking Bugs Bunny.
But look,
which I'm
we
great
have.
with,
I would have
which
bring
I'm
this
great.
up, but
I'm-
I love my
we
lisps.
have lisps. Yeah.
I love your lisps.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
lisps are cool.
I didn't want you to feel left out. Ironically, I feel you'd be more self-conscious not having lisps.
because
Right?
I think a
In this
lisp.
It's like you're in
You're part of
Spain
the
right
group.
now. You know
Well,
what I mean?
especially as a performer, like I think a lisp adds to a comedic effect, but also as an actor, if you're going to act in something, I think a lisp would also add to like a dark,
I mean,
like a
Will
bad guy
Forte
with a
is
lisp.
A great example.
Will Forte has a lisp? Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you
Really?
not? Can you wait? Will Forte does not have a lisp.
Hold on.
Will Forte does not have a lisp.
I'm gonna look it up. 'Cause I'm
But
pretty
but
sure.
don't you think like a bad guy with a lisp
Oh yeah.
in like a
There's
Yeah.
Bond
definitely-
film?
That's definitely been
The
a
problem with
character.
acting, I mean, I've never really got into acting, but I feel like, if they don't want the character, there's probably a lot more characters they don't want to have lisps, and I can't not have a lisp.
You should actually. This is something I still want to do. Do you know who Sandy Danto is?
No.
He's an LA comedian. He's a fucking extremely hilarious. But
Yes, he does. I'm correct.
he does. Okay. Will
Is there
Forte
like
does
a
have a
lisp
lisp.
online, like who's Jewish, who has lisps for
No,
celebrities?
I recently listened to an episode of him on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast.
Yeah.
No.
And I always thought that a lisp was something that he did for some characters and that it was like slightly less pronounced
Yeah.
for other characters. But he's just talking on this podcast and he has like a full lisp.
Okay.
But there's no comedians besides me and you. What other comedians have lisp? I feel like
I mean,
none.
apparently me now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's pretty fucking great. Yeah. I'm in. But no, okay, so Sandy Danto. You've met Sandy, Caitlin,
Yeah.
right? Fantastic LA-based comedian. He and I share something similar, which is a look. Right? So him and I came up with this idea, and we still got to do it, about these two actors in LA who keep, because him and I both auditioned for like 4 different Belushi projects. Yeah. And didn't get any of them because John Gemberling exists. I love John Gemberling. If you don't know John, he's a fantastic actor. He's in comedic actor. He's brilliant. He's in Broad City. He's in a bunch of stuff. But he gets everything.
Yeah.
For guys that look like us.
Damn.
So we had this idea of like 2 actors who keep auditioning for John Belushi and keep not getting it. And they realize it's their only path to success. So they decide, well, John Belushi's dead, but Jim isn't. So they hatch a plan to kill Jim Belushi so they can eventually star in his movie.
Oh,
when the
because you have to kill him for there to be a biopic.
He has to be dead, yeah.
I like the idea if he was dead,
Yeah.
people would still want to make a biopic for him.
Right,
but
right.
That definitely would not happen.
Right, but then that's the thing.
That's the suspension of
So then
disbelief.
you come-
Jim Belushi's
yeah,
dead.
yeah.
We got to make a biopic. Thank God, we've been waiting this whole
Well,
time.
then that was the thing, is that like they kidnap Jim Belushi, and he's like, yeah, actually, can we just fake my death? I'd love that.
Yeah, and then they do it, and
Yeah.
then networks are like, no, we're not making a biopic on Jim Belushi.
No. So then they actually have to kill Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
But now you could be the third guy.
I'll be the third
You
guy.
could be the other guy who comes in, like we're not aware of, and you're like, fuck, there's another one?
Yeah. Another chubby, bearded white guy comic. There's 3.
But but he's got a lisp. Damn it! He's got the edge. He's got the drop on us
There's
both.
the edge, yeah.
Yeah, if you, Sandy, and I were walking down the street, people would not be able to not look at us.
Well, let me ask you, who have you got after show and say, you know who you look like? I wonder if we've had the same people.
For me, because I do a podcast, people can't unthink Segura,
Okay.
which is flattering. I love Tom.
yeah. I can see that.
I get Galifianakis
I
because
get
have long
Galifianakis
hair.
all the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
I used to get Jack Black until people started to
too.
sense it fucking enraged me, and that's nothing against Jack Black.
Yeah.
I just think like I hate the idea that any energetic round guy immediately gets Jack Black.
I got Jack Black and
You know?
Jack Galifianakis many
Yeah.
times.
And like,
The worst was when Jonah Hill lost weight and people were like, you look like a fatter Jonah Hill.
yeah,
That was
I used to get Artie Lang a lot.
I get Artie Lang all the time.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, how many times he has a pig nose? Like how many times am I going to get Artie
That's
Lang?
so funny because I don't think you guys look alike.
Oh,
So,
really?
like,
No,
it's
I don't think
interesting that you
think
get-
we look alike at all. But I think we
She's like,
just
Raanan, I don't find you attractive.
Yeah. No, I don't think we look alike. I think we just look apart. We look a
No,
type.
yeah, but I don't.
You know
yeah,
what I'm
I
saying?
guess
Yeah.
I don't think
like
either
we're
of you
both
look
round
like.
faced, bearded.
We're also we're loud.
Yeah. We're loud.
Yeah.
You're obviously younger than me.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm 73. So you're obviously younger than
I
me.
thought you looked terrible, but
Yeah.
it makes you look great.
but the fucking what were we talking about? No, yeah, we just look at type.
Yeah.
I
And
guess.
now-
I
and
guess if you're
we're
thinking
lisp-
in like
we're
Hollywood
lispy
casting
Southerners.
couch way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, so
but
sorry.
I just
Yeah.
It's I rarely see.
I mean, I've gotten you a lot.
Really?
On the roast battle, I've called Sean Fatton. They call me.
What? Who the fuck? That's also like you are definitely not fatter than me. Like that's also just shitty observation on.
Yeah,
your-
well, you know, they.
You've beat those persons,
yeah,
right? Okay, good.
No, I think I got it from the judges a lot. Yeah.
Oh, so like Gomez?
Yeah, people like that. Different Sean Patton lines. I can't remember, but there's different variations of Sean
Sorry
Patton.
about that,
No,
but-
it's okay. It's fine. I'm happy to be, compared to you.
I mean, well, I think you're a fantastic comedian, so I hope.
Likewise. We're all great.
I also think Artie's a good man and realized some of us were getting compared to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he went ahead and had his nose. He cocaine blew out his nose on purpose to help us out. Because Artie's a good dude.
That's very selfless
Artie's a
of
good
him.
fucking
Yeah,
guy,
that's
man.
very
So
selfless.
I appreciate him snorting coke till his nose fell.
Oh, I fucking did I was at Tacoma Comedy Club. My family lived there. And I just went to the open mic, and the open mic was like 50 comics,
Yeah.
like no host.
Yeah.
And I went up on stage and did my set, and then the next comic went up, and he was like, give it up for Jewy Artie Lang, you know? And I'm like, he just made fun of me. I'm like, you don't know me. I got so angry. You know what I mean?
But that's look, all across the nation right now, probably the world, but I can't speak for the world. So the nation I can. Comedy is exploding, and every city has a massive amount of comedians and shit like that. And it's just impressive because 80% of them aren't going to be around in 5 years because
of the
I think
coronavirus.
that also, but I think also 80% of them don't actually want to be doing comedy. They just want to be famous, and that's it's human. It's human nature. You want to be, maybe I'm going to be the one to pop. So and now comedy's the thing. I feel like 15,
And good for them.
Yeah, great.
Wanting to do comedy is
Great. Comedy's amazing.
but it leads to.
I feel like 20 years ago it was being a fucking singer or a musician or an actor, and now it's comedy, and then in 10 years it'll be something else. But whatever.
But you've been
But
at
it's
it 42 years.
Instagram
You see it.
influencer.
But it's
That's
all
what I'm
Instagram influencers a thing. Yeah, I mean TikTok star, whatever.
I saw a
bullshit.
picture of a girl on, like, she was sitting on like a pinball machine or something, and she said, "Just saw an influencer sit on this pinball machine, so now I'm doing it." And I'm like, but you realize you are now the same person. Like, you're just ironically, and then it got thousands of likes. It's like you're
There
ironically
is-
making fun of the thing you are.
If you're a quote unquote influencer who like actually has researched educated opinions about things that you share,
Oh, sure.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
But
That
if you're
thing?
just some fucking dingbat who's like, hey, guess what? Reading glasses are in now just because, everyone wants to look like grandma.
Right.
Or whatever. And you're just like, and you want to be taken seriously. And you're a person who follows these people. Come on.
Well, also, like,
Come around.
An influencer
Come
is
around.
someone without talent. Because if you had talent, you'd be called whatever that talent is. You're an influencer.
Yeah.
But,
If you
like-
had talent, you would just be a photographer, a comedian. You know.
Yeah.
I'll even give you model. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But like, just saying.
I'll even give you model.
That's so condescending.
But
I'll
also-
even pretend model.
But I also feel like any one of us could. I think modeling has a lot to do with being beautiful or a certain look.
Yeah.
But I think three of us right now, if
Could
we
be
really
models.
tried, we could have successful modeling careers.
Yeah.
Not just because we're beautiful, but because we could get creative with it.
Yeah.
Like I would be a toilet model.
Right.
Like I would be
Toilet-
like I would make sitting on toilets look cool.
Actually, good example
You know?
of this right now is Stavros.
I mean, Stav's
Like,
actually.
he's
He is
doing
an
all these-
Instagram model.
Stav
You're right.
is
Doing
a
all these
legit
naked, hilarious, amazing
Instagram model.
But for him, I love it because like.
I belch whenever I say Stavros' name. Apparently,
For him, it's like he's doing a funny thing, and it's also, I guess, like empowerment of the body. But
Oh,
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's actual empowerment because it's gross. It's truly disgusting. But other girls are like hot.
Yeah.
And they do pictures as if they're being body positive, but you're hot. There's not a struggle there.
Yeah, Stav's the Cindy Crawford of Instagram.
What Stav does takes
Yeah.
guts.
Yeah, I mean he's got a lot up in the show, a lot of guts,
Yeah,
a lot of big old gut.
Takes guts, and he has a lot of it. Yeah.
Stavros is the Fabio of this generation.
The modern day Fabio.
the Instagram Fabio.
Yeah, it went from like Seth Rogen's a new romantic hero.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
went from like Tom Cruise to
Yeah.
Seth Rogen, and it went from Fabio to Stavros.
To Stavros Halkias. Fucking congrats, buddy. Go listen to episode 30 something.
Cannot remember
Yeah,
off
but
the top of my head.
but yeah, like that is so.
It's hard because, okay, so if you think about it just in general, I think that influencers started off as like tastemakers. And I do think that that's like a powerful thing if you have a bunch of followers to be like, hey, here's some things you might not know about in whatever
Like
industry I'm
Oprah.
working in.
Oprah was the original influencer.
Yes, well, yeah, but like before,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Jerry
social
Springer.
media, there were people that were like,
Jerry Springer. You might not be
Yeah.
into these. You should be interested in these
should,
white trash fights.
Yeah.
security tests. So really into that.
Yeah.
Think about what
But-
Jerry Springer was. Jerry Springer they were trying to do just another daytime talk show.
Yeah.
And then fights started happening, and they're like, this seems to draw numbers. And then it became the thing.
It is what social media is, which is like, it
Yeah.
started off as like hey, this is a way to connect people. And then they realized you use the platform more when you're arguing or like there's conflict.
Right,
and
right,
then they
right.
just manifest that.
What were you saying? You were saying something about.
Just that like it's like everything, it started off with good intentions and has now spiraled into just people being like, I bought my followers, I look pretty selling things that people give me to hold that I don't know anything about
Right.
that are bad for people.
Also, the key if you're a comedian who's like the key on Instagram is if you're really hot,
Yeah.
you post a lot of pictures of you being hot,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
Your
you post
butt.
one video of you doing some funny character that's not funny.
Yeah.
And then you pretend you got all those followers from that video.
Right,
As
right.
opposed to the pictures of you in a bikini.
You post a...
and then you're like, I'm
Yeah.
a comedian. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You
That's the
post a
key.
lot of pictures of you
With your butt.
with your butt or looking real
Hanging
hot.
out with your butt.
And then one
95%
Yeah.
that, and then you post like one clip, one subtitle clip of
That's
you doing
terrible,
stand up.
yeah.
That's like fine.
That's you just
Right.
saying a
Right.
tweet you tweeted earlier.
Yeah.
And it's just a premise.
And
for
then if
whatever.
anyone questions that, they're being misogynistic,
Right.
or hating on your success.
Right.
Where it's like, but and then you see them live, and it's the same thing where they're like, I see a lot of going on stage and being like, here's a joke. No one laughs at the joke because it's not a good joke. And the response is, oh, so you hate blank, whatever they are.
Yeah.
You hate whatever I am. It's like, no, that's just not.
Well,
didn't- that's-
to be fair, whenever I bomb, I do assume it's a crowd full of anti-Semites, so I can't really
There you
judge.
go. Whenever I bomb, I just assume it's a bunch of people who have something against lisps. I understand the struggle now.
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a lisp.
Now you have something to fall back on because
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
if you bombed,
Yeah.
they just didn't like you.
Well, before it
'Cause
was
you're
just like,
white guy.
I'm a white guy, so clearly I did everything
Yeah.
wrong. I've traveled through time with all this white guy privilege and created everything that's ever gone wrong with society.
Right.
It's all
Yeah.
my fault. So, but I learned to
Thank
live
you
with
for
that.
taking responsibility.
I learned to, you know what? That's what white people have to do now.
That's so funny. Like a cop will go up and like do a bad joke, and they're like, "I guess you don't like Moroccans."
Dude, I have seen, but that happens
Like-
all.
We didn't even know what you were.
We talked about this with David on the David Cross episode.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you see that a lot, where it's like, no, it's not that joke was too gay or
Oh, yeah,
whatever
we
it
did
is.
talk,
It's just
yeah.
like, it's just, you've been doing comedy for a year and a half,
I just can't believe
and
you
that's not a
have
good enough joke yet.
David Cross before me. That's what I just can't believe.
He asked if he could get in before. He's like, we asked him to do this. He's like, if I can get in before Hershberg, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Did nobody calls you Raanan Hershberg?
Hersheyberg.
Like Hershey's
People
chocolate?
call you Hershey.
A couple of people called me Hersheyberg back in the day, but
Okay.
those people didn't live to tell
Yeah,
me.
those people are now smears on underpants.
I had a friend growing up we called Hershey.
I got called Hershey. I got called Hersheyberg. Fat piece of shit. That wasn't really using my name, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That's just a take on that Mike Birbiglia.
Oh, what? That joke isn't, that joke. Let me guess, you guys, because you see that a lot too, where like now you got white dudes being like, oh, what, y'all hate white guys? And you're like, no, it just wasn't a good joke.
Yeah.
You write a better joke, white dude,
Well,
or any dude, or any person of anything.
Well, here's the thing about
And take it when it bombs. That's
Yeah.
That's the point. Sometimes I told a fucking joke last night on the Comedy Cellar, on this Comedy Central live at the Cellar taping last night. That will, I swear to God, I'm going to hold the record for most times to do it that have never aired. But I told a fucking.
Guess I should ask you
I
advice
told
on
the
that.
joke last night that bombed so goddamn hard, but one person laughed so hard, and it was worth it. It was worth it for Liz.
was Liz laughing?
Liz
Yeah.
was laughing.
Oh, well,
it was
I mean,
it was worth it for Liz.
Well, yeah, if they're the manager.
Yeah, Liz Furiotti, the fucking the Tony Soprano of
What I
the.
love about this,
Yeah.
though, is we've established that if Sean tells a joke and
Yeah.
I say, that's stupid, and I don't laugh, it will crush on stage.
Yeah.
Really?
But
you're right.
this joke, last
Yeah.
night he told me, I laughed
Ah.
like a dingbat, and then was like, it's probably not going to work.
All right,
on
what's the
stage.
joke? Let's hear it.
I was okay. It starts with I'm talking about how your sense of taste is useless because it's like it just kills you eventually.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, I know
I was like, you're never gonna taste your way out of danger. And then I like imitate someone like tasting random dangers in the air, like run. There's an AR-15 in
That's
the or like someone knocks at the door. You go, hold on. And you taste the air. And you're like, don't answer. It's Jehovah's Witnesses. I can taste the insanity. And then I was like walking onto a subway train and going, oh, someone's got coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that would actually be a great power if you had where you could taste sicknesses in the
Right,
air.
right.
So you walk into a crowded room and you're like, hold on. Yep, somebody's got coronavirus in here. Hold on. But unfortunately, no one has Lyme disease.
Oh, you did that one. What did that?
I love that. It is kind of a dad joke, though.
Corona. virus and Lyme disease.
Yeah.
It's fucking gold. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care what anyone says. And if you hate my lisp, I lisp that last. But anyway.
That's just a very abstract joke to get
Yeah.
to kind of.
Yes, to a dad joke.
But sometimes
It took the abstract way to get to.
But sometimes it is worth bombing if it makes one person laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that they'll never forget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
She was
then-
like, ha ha ha, he'll never work here again.
she was like, oh God, that was the coffin rattle.
The evil laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, like ha ha, finally we have a reason.
Yeah. But you weren't like, oh, you hate white guys. This is the thing about that response. No one has ever not laughed at a funny joke because of the way the person telling it looks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well-
I mean, unless you're like a white guy and saying something about race sometimes. Well, I'm literally falling into this trap.
Yeah.
No, if it's
No, but
funny,
you're right.
you
You're
laugh.
right. You're right.
Jessel
If you're
makes a good
funny,
example of
if it's
that.
funny, you'll laugh.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's 100% true. And honestly, when it comes to like, there is so much sexism,
Yeah.
and there is so much homophobia and all this shit.
Yeah.
But when you're a comedian and you think those things are bringing you down, you kind of don't know for sure because you could just suck too.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to have other people say that excuse, but you're a little biased to say that excuse. You
Yeah.
can't say sexism is holding me down because how do you know that you don't just suck?
Oh,
Yeah.
And also like
Let someone else say it.
yeah. And also
I'm not saying it's not true, but
Right.
let someone else say it.
Yeah.
Let-
Actually, Joe Firestone, who also did the podcast before you, so sorry
Jesus
she
Christ.
requested it especially. But she was talking about how one of her, I can't remember the joke specifically, but one of her jokes wasn't working. She was talking with Joe Pera backstage, and Joe was like, well, why don't you do it, and then I'll go do it on this other set.
Sure.
And
Sounds like something he'd say.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently Joe bombed Firestone, and Joe Pera crushed with the
Really?
same material.
Yeah.
But it's interesting if you come up with a bit together, see like, is it just me or is it my delivery or is it just a bad joke?
Yeah, you never know. It could, so much,
Experiment.
Yeah.
so many jokes are dependent on the person saying it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I mean, it's also like, I mean, that's pretty much anything. It's like there's so much out there now, quote unquote content. I hate using the fucking phrase content, but you have to. The word content's not a phrase. The word, because I like to call it art or craft. You know, I like
Yeah.
that. I prefer
That's much
that
less
world.
obnoxious, yeah.
But content, there's so much out there that like you've got to be good and stay good. And like the problem with there being so much out there is some people just expect it and don't want to work for it. And the problem is that they have so much proof as to why they don't have to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you mid burp while you talk?
I'm very belchy. I get very belchy when I get real. That's why I'm a comedian. That's why I don't get real that much because I don't want to be
It kinda
belching
hurts
all the
to
goddamn
realness,
time. Yeah.
On this note, and then we'll move to the story. I just learned that Ali Wong, when she is working on new material, will say it very, like, almost whispered into a mic for a couple times and with no emotion whatsoever to just see if the way it's written
Yeah.
still gets a laugh.
I heard a lot of her jokes do really well in the third trimester, but not the second trimester.
Yeah. I like to.
It makes sense. You got to give another trimester.
Yeah, you gotta give
Yeah.
it another try.
When I'm first trying out material, I only do it when I have food poisoning.
Really?
So
That's
that
great.
if I can make people laugh while I'm fighting back the urge to vomit on them,
Right.
then I know it works.
Do you get food poisoning a lot?
No, and then if I give it to myself, and I'm like, I got new stuff,
Yeah.
so I go eat,
have a lot of
raw
rotting
chicken and.
food.
It is great when you're sick and you go on stage. That's the best because you don't give a shit.
Oh yeah, well, like that's what I'm saying. If my shit bombs, I just barf all over everyone.
Yeah, just throw
But not anymore. I can't do that anymore. Been because I can't do that anymore.
Do you have why? Do you have a vomiting? Are you like bulimic?
You have the coronavirus.
No.
That's what it is?
I can't. I can't. I've become immune to food poisoning.
Nice.
I've eaten so much garbage. I kind of think I am immune
You
to
created
food
that
poisoning.
superpower.
Yeah, this is the episode before I die from food poisoning.
Your body, because food poisoning is like your body's not used to it.
I
Your
get-
body's literally become used to everything.
I've experienced food poisoning 3 times in my life, and it is every single time has lasted roughly an hour and a half, and
Oh,
then it's
really?
over. Yeah,
That's crazy.
and I think my stomach is made of pure fucking iron because I can eat anything, and I've eaten some. I
I believe you.
Dude,
You don't have to convince me.
it's impressive. It's like if the rest of my
You're like,
body.
I've eaten a lot of shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, I got it.
Oh yeah. If the rest of my body were as functional as my digestive system, I would be a superhero. I would be an impenetrable man. I would be a fucking god.
That would be your superhero name.
Yeah, penetrable man.
But I want to be penetrated by love.
Food poisoning's fun because you vomit and shit. All, so it's like really just trying to
Super
get out
fun.
of you
Yeah.
at every
One
yeah.
of those
blast.
times, the only time that's ever happened to me, I did it in a hotel room where I was like, I have to puke. I also have to butt puke. And I don't want to be forced.
But you had to butt puke you had to you had to shit mouth.
Yeah, I have to face shit and I have to butt puke.
Yeah, face shit and butt puke.
I'm like, and I don't want to be. I don't want to go through the Sophie's Choice moment
Yep.
of which end to go in the toilet. So I stripped naked. I got in the shower and just pulled the alarm, like the body alarm. Just let it both go.
Oh, I thought you meant
Just
pull the
let
fire.
them
I was
both
like,
go.
See, that's the right answer.
Just back. I faced.
That is the best answer.
I faced the faucet. Just barfed into the thing and pooped. I probably
That's
should have
great because it sucks when you're on the toilet and you have food poisoning because you have to constantly shit and then fucking put your face in the
Yeah,
toilet.
no, wasn't gonna
You
do it.
just,
Wasn't gonna do
and
that.
throw up.
So I just let it all out, then turned the water on, and then just let it run until it was all out, and then bathed myself.
That's genius. It's a shame you'll never get food poisoning again, so you can't continue to.
It's a shame I wasn't filming that because I feel like that's content, baby.
Oh, yeah. That would've been- that would've
That's
got very
content,
viral.
baby.
Do that. Pictures of a hot lady in a bikini. You'll go to the get.
I mean, I'll be the next influencer
Do it,
with
man.
bold moves
Yeah.
like this.
And I think we've all learned an important lesson. Shit mouth and butt puke
Oh,
are
yeah.
great sidekick names
Hell
for
yeah.
cartoons.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Shit mouth and butt puke.
yeah.
Cool. All right, Raanan, can you tell us the 5 words of your
Yes.
story?
Yes. Ronald. Horse, tractor, accident, bedding.
Okay, so this is an old classic Hershberg story. So Raanan, as everyone knows, and if you don't, now you will, hails from Louisville, Kentucky. Respect on behalf of the people of Louisville, for me saying it correctly until that
not
exact moment.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Usually it's like
Louisville.
Louisville. I feel like you said Louisville.
I say
Yeah,
Louisville.
I said Louisville.
Louisville.
He's got a weird
Louisville.
list where he turns
Could be.
I've got
B's into B's.
exactly. So from Louisville, Kentucky, where everyone knows that the actual Ronald McDonald, the person who McDonald's
Inspired.
is based off
Yeah.
of, but Ronald McDonald, also from Louisville, Kentucky, and he had a few sons. One of them was your age. And the thing about the McDonalds was that they were a bunch of gingers with rosacea on their noses, so they looked like clowns. You see where it came from.
Yeah.
And
They owned a
much
farm. It's what the song is
right.
based
The
on.
song's based. They actually had a farm. You would go hang out on the McDonald farm.
Is this Ronald McDonald? Like, is he a?
This is Junior, who you were friends with.
Oh, this is Junior.
Right, right.
Okay.
So you would go. You know the story. So
Yeah,
you,
oh, right.
You would go hang out on the farm,
Right.
and where he had numerous, farm-like things.
Yeah, exactly.
A horse
The
being one.
inspiration of the song.
Yeah.
McDonald had a farm. So
Right.
he had,
I
he
can
had
tell
a-
you've been on a farm before because you're like, he had numerous farm-like things.
Yeah.
Oink, oink here and a nay, nay there.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of farm-like stuff going
Yeah.
on in that farm.
Now, his particular, Ronald McDonald Jr.'s particular prized possession was
Right.
this beautiful,
Beautiful.
dappled horse.
Beautiful. Right.
Beautiful horse. Named Rosie.
Rosie.
That was her stable name.
And Rosie and Ronald McDonald Jr. would always tell you, Rosie's the fastest horse.
Okay. yeah.
She can win any race. Now, after years and years of hearing this, you were like, you know what, Ronald?
Not that fast.
She's not that fucking fast, dude.
Yeah.
I bet I can beat you and her in a race on, you pick any animal. And Ronald McDonald, being the sly fuck he is, he goes, what about that John Deere tractor?
Oh shit! He used animal
Against
for a
machine.
Fucking,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and there's the word deer in it, so it kind of
You know that story.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm remembering.
Yeah.
it.
Right. So
Clever.
now it's on. There's a race, Ronald McDonald on his horse Rosie versus you on the John Deere, right?
And
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are neck to neck.
Yeah,
Which you're like, "Oh, come on, Rosie's not that fast. This is a fucking tractor.
Right.
You're neck to neck, and all of a sudden, the tractor like sputters and kind of keels over.
and you get
you
causing
get
an
in an
accident,
accident.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then technically, he wins the race.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't know, and this is where the slick Raanan Hershberg side comes out, is that you had placed a bet with a bookie that there was going to be not only was there going to be a race, but that you were going to lose the race via the accident on the tractor,
Right.
which the whole town was in on this by this point. They're like, "There's no way he's going to lose to Rosie, that slow ass horse. No way."
Yeah.
So you knew everybody was betting on you. You bet on yourself and quote unquote threw
it.
the race.
Through the race for myself.
Right. And you made a ton of money off of that, of betting off on yourself,
Yeah.
which you used to buy Rosie. And you renamed her
Old Man of Many Shadows.
Old Man of Many
That's a
Shadows.
horse race name, right?
yeah,
Yes.
Old Man of Many Shadows. And
Old
you,
Man of Many Shadows,
Right.
yeah.
Which, of course, you then, being in Louisville,
Yeah.
right into the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
And, of course, the slow-ass horse
Yeah.
lost the race to the
Yeah.
point where it had to be put down right then and there, which was your ultimate fuck you to Ronald McDonald Jr.
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
putting it
Yeah.
on Rosie.
Yeah, because he was just a jerk off.
Or Old Man of Shadows.
Right.
Fuck.
And also Ronald McDonald Jr.
Well, of course he could be a dick. He's Ronald McDonald's son.
Yeah, he's got
Exactly.
everything
What,
he needs.
what chance did he
So you
have?
stuck. So that was actually about you sticking it to the corporate man. Mm-hmm. So it
By
just
a child's favorite horse.
right. So in summation, you grew up with Ronald McDonald Jr. You bet him you could beat his horse in a race with him on it. Anything he chose, you on a tractor. You threw the race, won the money, bought the horse, put it in the Louisville Derby, the Kentucky Derby. It was so slow it had to be put down, and that is how you got back at McDonald's for your 36-inch waistline.
I think it's great, and
Yeah.
I a lot of people they know Colonel Sanders is from Kentucky,
Right.
But not a lot of people know Ronald McDonald is a real.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, and that he's from Kentucky.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's yeah.
Did we nail it?
That's the story.
You were close. I will say one thing. You did. There's one part of it that is correct, and once I tell the story, you'll see what part is
Oh,
correct.
Hell yeah. Can you tell us
All right, what's the real story?
Hit us with
Okay, so I do this in a stand-up bit, but I'll try not. I don't want to like run jokes. I'll try to just tell
Hey,
the
it's
real
okay,
whatever.
yeah.
But like, but it is 100% true. So I had a gig, I think 4 years ago at the Marion County Fair in Marion County, Kentucky.
Okay.
And it was a very small fair. I remember it was to give you a sense about Southern. They were selling T-shirts. And they were selling like Trump T-shirts right next to like Muhammad Ali T-shirts,
Right.
and like right next to like a Confederate flag T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it was
yeah.
all over the place. There was people were eating deep fried donut burgers because sometimes diabetes takes too long.
Deep
yeah,
fried
yeah.
donut burger.
Burgers,
Now,
yeah.
let me ask you.
You get
do they-
diabetes just saying it out
Right.
loud.
Do you make the burger first and then deep fry it? Or is the donut deep fried and then cut and used as bread and then you make the burger on top?
I think that's what you do. The second thing.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. We don't fuck around in Kentucky.
That is insane.
Deep fried donut burger.
I
That
would
is.
have one mouthful of that, and then I would get diabetes and die.
I don't-
It would be delicious.
I don't
Imagine
know.
doing
You
an
know,
eating
Delicious.
contest with deep fried donut burgers.
Oh my god!
If you could finish just one of those without feeling pure regret.
It's amazing to me because like a donut alone is bad for you,
Yeah.
but then you're deep frying something
yeah.
bad for you.
Yeah.
You're not ending there.
No.
You're then
Then you're like,
putting
fuck the
a
juice.
hamburger in there, and then are you putting ketchup with the? You know, it's just like it's
You might,
insane.
and you might as well, while you're eating it, involve like a Russian roulette situation.
yeah, and it's you're Russian
It's
roulette
like,
with
and
your
you're
heart.
playing Russian roulette while you're chewing the burger. Just,
Yeah.
you know, spare
No,
yourself
one
the
of
pain.
these has like a grenade in it.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna bite down.
Yeah, that's how
One
everyone
of
eats
the-
in the South. So there was very few people at the fair, and I didn't know where I was supposed to do comedy. And I asked the guy running the event, I was like, "Where is everyone?" And he said, "This is actually true." He said, "It's been hard to get people to come to the fair." And I asked why, and he said, "About 10 years ago, there was a tractor pull. A pole flung out, went through a guy's head in the bleachers, out the back of his skull."
Oh my god.
Jesus.
And ever since then, it's been hard to get people
wait,
to come
what,
to
a
the fair.
pole?
A pole, like from a tractor pull. Like yeah.
shit.
I actually don't know what a tractor pull is, but that's what he told me. It's like I think you're pulling a tractor and people are watching it.
Yeah.
It's like a it's a competition. It's like a tractor competition.
yeah.
An engine competition.
Yeah. But a pole flung out, went through a guy's head, out the back of his skull. But apparently he didn't die.
What?
But he was not. It affected him though.
It was from all. Well, it was because of all the guy had eaten 2 deep fried burger, chicken
It made
donut.
him the impenetrable man.
It made him the
Yes.
impenetrable man. The guy,
He could not be penetrated.
Right, he had so much blood sugar.
Yeah.
He had so much sugar in his blood, it actually formed a shell, a candy shell around
Yes,
his brain.
yes,
And
yes.
it deflected the pulse.
Yeah.
That is how medicine works.
But it did
Yeah.
fuck up some of his math skills and all that. I mean, but he was also a redneck, so he probably.
I'm
was
sure
wasn't
his
that
math
smart.
skill, it probably made him better.
Yeah,
When he said fuck up, it mean fuck up can also mean improve.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And now the guy was too smart to go back to the fucking tractor pull.
Well, it's true because I had a neurology exam once, and they
Yeah.
asked me like how many 20. I think it was like 20 quarters. How many dollars does 60 quarters make, or
Right.
something like that, or 60 nickels make? And I couldn't answer, and they thought I was like. It was suggesting that I had a tumor. I was like, no. I didn't have math skills to begin with. There's no tumor lodging on my part of my brain. I'm just kind of an idiot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was just an example. But anyway, that's a digression.
Happens. Happens.
That was not that you were openly not interested in.
It
No,
happens.
I'm just trying to figure out how many nickels.
Oh, that's really.
Yeah, it happens.
But so I was like, "Where is the show happening?" And there was horses racing. It was a harness racing. Do you know what harness racing is?
Well, it's like Ben-Hur.
It's like Ben-Hur, white
okay,
trash
okay.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's
They
like,
just drive igloo coolers behind horses.
it's just like a fat guy in a wife beater on like a little chair connected to a horse.
Got it.
And the horse
That
is
is-
it's white trash gladiator.
Yep. Yep.
And they're
that's
just
such a
they're
bad
just bringing
idea.
these rednecks and their tits are jiggling and they got a
Yeah.
beer and the horses. It's hard for the horse because
Yeah.
horses usually want like a little short, magical short person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like a fat. You know what I mean? So they're harness racing. No betting, actually. Did I put betting? That's the thing. I wanted to put no betting. They were just they were just doing it for the cruelty. No betting.
Oh, okay, yeah, just for the sport.
Just for the pain.
Yeah.
But
That's a sport. When you make something else do the work, but you're in charge. When you're in charge.
the guy running the event said once the horses are done racing, he's going to drive a pickup truck onto the racetrack, and he goes a speaker. And I perform,
fuck outta
I perform stand up for these 12 people in the bleachers.
No.
Yeah, I have a picture. I'll show you later. Yeah, afterwards. So I had to
God, it
perform.
hurts my soul. Just like I feel like
Yeah. And these 12 people are like about 200 feet away.
Physical
from,
pain. I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
So the horses get done racing. He drives the pickup truck onto the racetrack.
Yeah.
He gets on the pickup truck, has a speaker, and I'm like, I haven't gotten to the, I'm like off to the side, just waiting to be introduced. And I'm trying to figure out how to get onto the pickup truck. Like that's kind of like that's the hardest stage I've ever gotten onto. You know what I mean? And he begins the show to the 12 people. He just goes, all right, before we begin, quick announcement. Horse number 4, Harriet, the one who crashed in the third race, we did have to put her down. We had to put her
my
down.
God.
She's dead in the back there.
Jesus.
With that out of the way, who's ready for a comedy show?
Why did that?
God.
Why is that information even necessary?
I don't know. He's like, the horse is dead. Also, 500 people died in Somalia yesterday from AIDS or
okay,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just like ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make this harder on this guy because right up until now he's got it too easy. He's got truck bed and he's got a speaker system.
Yeah, this is all pretty much easy. It's pretty much bumper
How long
bowling.
have you been doing comedy at this point?
Oh, I've been doing it for a while. I've been doing it for maybe
so you were
7
like,
years.
when you entered into that situation, you were like, this is going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I probably would have known that.
Regardless,
Yeah.
but still.
But
like,
yeah, I was like, this is gonna be terrible. But it was so terrible, to be honest. I was kind of like, you know how it gets so terrible, it starts getting fun.
He's
Yeah.
like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so he brings me up. He calls me. He's like, your first comedian is. He looks at the
First
name.
comedian.
Yeah, I was opening cold.
Oh God! So there was other comedians who had agreed.
2 other comedians.
Did
yeah.
you know them?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. That
Yeah.
that at least helps.
Did
Because I've been
we
in,
know that?
well, I've been in,
No,
I've been in
Kentucky.
shitty situations like that before, where it's also like, and I don't know the other comedians, where you're like, fuck, man, what if they're awesome? And then you realize, like, wait, no, if they're in this shit situation, none of us are great yet.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, of
And-
course not.
But
yeah.
but in your situation, you were probably it was probably great because it was Louisville, and I feel like every comedian I've met out of Louisville has been pretty funny.
I was like the 12th, 13th best comic in Louisville.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
Kentucky area.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So he goes, "You ready for your first comedian?" He looks down at the name and goes, "Give it up for Ronald Harrington."
Wow.
Wow, there's so many ways is that you could mispronounce your name, but it's pretty phonetic.
He de-Jewed my name. That's like he looked
Yeah,
at it
that's-
and he
My
de-Jewed. He was
God.
like the Jewishness. He couldn't understand it.
Right, his brain
And he's
just
like,
he saw Ronald Harrington.
He saw Ronald
Yeah,
Harrington.
like that's like a brain. Like
Is that your alter ego now?
yeah.
Yeah, Ronald
That's,
Harrington.
you're
the blue collar
such
comic.
a redneck. You can't unsee.
Well, I felt like my identity had changed. Like I'm walking to the truck. I'm like, I feel like I'm no longer this Jewish comic. I'm like this blue collar comic who does county fairs. You know what I mean?
dude.
Wow.
So I come up, and obviously we all know that when you do comedy, you need to get a laugh in the first, you'd like to get a laugh in the first 10, 15 seconds, If
Yeah,
you
as
don't,
soon as you
get
can.
it-
As soon as you can.
As soon as you can.
As soon as possible.
15 seconds might be even
Fucking
too long.
2 seconds, if possible. Yeah.
So it takes me about 12 minutes to get onto the pickup truck. So that's... I'm just climbing on top of it. I finally get up, and I remember, this happens with every show. Like, you ever do the worst show ever? You're like, it can't possibly get any worse, and then something else bad happens. That always happens at the worst shows.
And the truck takes off.
I just
No.
fall off the back.
Yeah.
No, but I get up on the speaker, I go, hello, and the speaker immediately goes, beep, like immediately gets feedback right away.
It was a very anti-Semitic speaker.
Yes, of course.
I'm
yeah.
thinking if you did this on purpose, like if part of the bit was you spending 12 minutes to get into the truck and you just kept falling off and kept slipping and just not being able to, and then you finally get on and you go like, hello, I'm like,
That was pretty
this
brilliant.
is actually kind of fucking genius.
Yeah, that would be genius.
But yeah, the truck starts moving. You fall off, but the speaker wire wraps around the hitch and around your ankle, and then you get drugged through the mud, and then it's like a lynching,
Lynching a Jew.
and it's like
Always after the hardest
But
race.
wait, also a lie because he ain't Jewish. His name's Ronald Harrington.
It's like have you seen Midsommar? It's like their version where you
Jesus.
think you're doing
Yeah.
a comedy, but you're being sacrificed.
Yes.
Dude.
Exactly.
So I start doing my act, but the thing is, they're really far away, and I can't.
Wait,
I mean,
and also you're outside on a fucking pickup truck? Okay, yeah.
But also, like, I can't hear if they're laughing.
Oh no.
Like, they're that far away. They're like, they're like over to like maybe that, like, maybe
Oh, yeah,
that, like, yeah.
You're in a field.
Like, I don't know if they're alive. Like,
Yeah,
they're that far away, and I just do my act for like 10 minutes to just nothing,
yeah, I've been there.
and I'm like.
Yeah, I've been there.
And I'm like, maybe the laughs will finally get to me at the very end. Like they're traveling that whole time. But they'll finally, after 10 minutes, I was like, I gotta know if I'm doing well.
Right.
You need that.
Yeah.
So I just tell them, I go, look, I can't hear if you're laughing. If you like a joke, just raise your hand. And then I said my next joke, and I remember no one raised their hand. And I was like, shit. Like, now I know I'm bombing. Before it was like a mystery, and I kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
But then I said that out loud, what I just said, and then someone kind of slowly raised their hand
Yeah.
on the save,
Yeah.
on the riff. And then that kind of gave me a little confidence. I said another joke, someone raised their hand, and I kept on doing that. And I did okay. At one point, 4 people raised their hand out of the 12.
Yeah.
Which, that's a pretty good ratio.
I mean, yeah, you're not gonna.
got a
Those
third of the crowd on
those
your side.
situations. Yeah. No, you're not. They're not designed for you to win. I fucking hate that when fucking people, like promoters or producers of events, are like, we need a comedian.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's a shooting range. I know,
we're
but it's a
going
pool
hunting.
party. Yeah, but it's a bounce house. We need a comedian.
We're dirt racing. What's it called? Drag racing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it's kind of funny. There's 2 different types of drag racing.
Yes.
There's a drag racing, which is like cars,
Yeah.
and the drag racing, which is drag queens.
Yeah.
And boy, would it be funny if a redneck thought he was going to one.
And then,
Drag queens drag racing.
Drag queens drag racing,
I
yeah.
want to see that.
Are they the exact same term?
I would actually prefer to see drag drivers have to do drag.
I bet there's a RuPaul
Like
episode.
no,
of, this
of like
crossover.
drag racing drivers.
truck
Like, now you got to
driver,
go
yeah.
do drag.
Yeah.
Now
Well, they
you have to
should
do drag.
both. We should go to True TV right away.
Oh, buddy.
Because we can show.
How'd it go? Well, they're going to do more. They're going to do the reruns.
There were
And the Practical
like
Jokers.
14 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. They must have done this.
Yeah.
I just about to go to bitch and getting shot down and everything. Like,
Yeah.
you got anything else? And you know that moment where you're like, I don't know, reruns of Impractical Jokers, and they're like, that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you should show both. I think they'd both be interesting to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the story.
That's fucking, dude, that's crazy because it just incites so much. Like, I've had some of the, like, and I just kind of pontificate a little bit on it, but like, it's a thing that drives me fucking insane. Is there just, even today, with comedy being as big as it is, and it's like, people are way more savvy about it, you still get those requests, or that you get these gigs where you're like, why did you want a comedian?
Yeah.
Why did you want this?
Well, people don't realize that comedy needs a specific environment. People don't know. People don't know anything about comedy.
I mean, I'm ready to talk about this now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's been over a year. But like a little over a year ago, it like fucked me up, this gig. Like, it was a private birthday party where I show up, and it's like it was a dad who was a successful business owner who went back to college and had just graduated.
Okay.
Because he wanted to get another grade. But he was already a successful business owner. Good for him. But he was having a party for this, and it was a bunch of his fellow classmates who were like other grad student age, and his family, and the son hired me. And basically, I get there, and it's like, there's no stage. He's like, you got a microphone. You can just kind of be in the middle of this room. We're going to shut everybody up. This was in Manhattan, too. And he's like, and you do an hour. And I knew all
An
this.
hour?
I knew all this going in.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like prepared. I was like, all right, in my head. I
Good
was just
money?
like,
Good money?
money was good offer. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do stupid crowd work, whatever. But then as I get there and I start noticing, it's like, hey, there's no way any of these people are going to shut up and listen. They've all been drinking for at least an hour.
Yeah.
They're all very in their conversations. And then the microphone shows up, and it's not cordless. It's not a cordless mic like he originally said. So it's a mic set up in the corner of this room where there, again, is no stage. You're in the corner of this room, right next to the door. The seats are all going, like a standard room. They're all around the room.
You're not even in a place where people would naturally be looking.
No.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, hey, you don't have to do a full hour. I'm like, in my head, I was like, no shit, I wasn't gonna. But it was the kind of thing where, like, the uncle was like, hey, how are you? And the guy introduced himself, and I remember he was a TV anchor in Boston. So he's like, I'll give you an introduction. I know how to introduce people. I've been doing live speaking for years. I'm like, great. And he does like all right, everyone, here's the comedian, Sean Patton. It's that thing. And it
Really warmed them up.
What proceeded was, I think I was on maybe 15 minutes I was up, and it was pure, as a comedian, torture. Because no one would listen. So if I was talking in one direction, everyone in the direction I wasn't looking would be talking. You understand?
Right.
If I was looking this way and talking this side of the room, this whole side would be talking. And then when I would try and switch, and when I tried to get them all in, it just didn't matter.
I'd say at this point, it's so far removed that it's not even comedy.
Well, it isn't. It
It's
isn't.
not, because you're not even...
Right, and there's no way I can get I can't get the whole room to listen.
Yeah.
Because now they're all drunk, and now they're heckling me, and they're like, tell a joke. And I start telling a joke, and of course they don't have the fucking patience to listen to a joke. And I'm not a one-liner guy. I'm a fucking long-winded fucker, which the guy knew when he hired me. That was the other thing. Like, the guy knew when he hired me he saw clips of mine. So he's like, my dad loves stories. He loves Ari's show. He's gonna, and I try, but every time I try going into this shit, they would just all start talking again and like mildly heckling, and it was just this fucking nightmare.
Jesus
to where I
Christ.
look over and I see it happen. I see the dude who hired me look back over at the uncle who was the Boston news anchor and kind of nod, and the guy got up and just took the microphone away from me.
How far into it?
15 minutes maybe.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
At that point where I know that's
Maybe even
it's always like it feels shitty, but we also relieved to be done.
Dude, here's what happened. I immediately left that room, walked into the bathroom, locked the door, like had like a moment of like talking myself down. Because I was not only like humiliated, but I was also enraged.
Yeah,
Because it was
of course.
just such a shitty situation. But also I just felt so fucking stupid because there is that thing. This is what assholes don't realize when they hire a comedian, you put us in a fucking horrific situation, is that we're still, no matter how bad the situation is, if you put us in front of a bunch of fucking drunk racists who are blindfolded,
we still think it's our fault.
we still will blame
We're victim
ourselves.
blamers.
Right.
We're victim blamers.
So I'm in the bathroom like, it's not your fucking fault, man. Now I'm just feeling overwhelmed. Oh yeah, it was also the dad's birthday. It was his birthday / graduation. So I walk out and the dad is at the bar getting a drink, and I immediately walk over to him like, sir, I'm very sorry for ruining your birthday and your party. And he right away is like, dude, you didn't ruin anything, man. It was out of control. It was just a bad situation. And I tried to leave without getting paid.
Oh my
I was
God.
so broken by the situation. I was like, I don't want the money. It pisses me off. The idea.
You get that
Oh,
guilty,
yeah, dude,
huh?
I get-
I was so mad.
Wait,
at
hold
it.
on.
I was like,
Not
they
done.
put you in
Not
that
done.
situation.
Not done.
Take that fucking
Not
money.
done. Not done. Sorry, but what you're about to say is going to have way more weight in a second
Okay.
because I did, because the guy who hired me caught me on the way out and was just like, here, man, take it. And he handed me the check, and I was like, I tried to say no, but he's like, just fucking take it. And I could tell he was pissed off too, that A, he had to pay me, but B, that like I didn't, in his eyes, I couldn't deliver.
Yeah.
And C, that I was clearly going to try and be the good guy here and not take the money, because I was like, I'll be fine. I'll figure it out, but fuck this. But I took the check, and then I just pocketed it. And then I showed up at then I went to another spot that night. And my first spot, and I show up, and the dude booking was like, are you okay? You look like you've just been fucking sexually molested. And I was like, well, emotionally, yes. And that set went well, and then I did the cellar that night.
That had to go well.
Right. That set had to go well. And then I was at the cellar, and Sylvince asked me the same thing. He's like, what's wrong with you? And I told him, he's like, fuck it. And then I had a really great set at the cellar, and he was like, you're redeemed. But I was like, no, I'm not. I still fucked that up so bad. And when we got home that night, I told her, I was like, I'm not cashing this. And she was like, I will fucking take it from you until you come around.
Right.
Like, I'm like, no, I can't deposit it. I'm going to tear it up. And this is why I was saying what you were saying later with that weight, because later at the end of the night, I was like still broken. Damn. And like, I cannot deposit this money. I don't deserve it. And
Jesus Christ.
thankfully, Caitlin is logical.
Yeah.
And she was like,
Sorry,
no.
I messed up the order. I thought you called me from the spot. And that's when I told you, you were like, I'm going to rip up this check.
Oh,
on the way to the second spot.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't fucking do that.
Yeah. I was going to.
Hell, you deserve that money at least.
But it took me like 2 days to convince myself it was
You're
okay.
not great at taking money from gigs. I remember when you did my show, you just like I put on a show for you, and you just gave us all the money, and I was like, that's crazy.
What, the show at the little theater?
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on.
Wait.
That was a different scenario because that show was fun as hell. It was fantastic. But B,
So fun is the
I
only
was also
currency
I was
need.
in Louisville shooting Best Bars.
So you're making
So money
yeah.
wasn't an issue, and you
Yeah.
guys
And it
worked.
was very nice of
And you
you.
guys worked so hard to put on that
Yeah.
show, and it was fantastic. It was so much fun that I was like, please take the
It
money.
was very nice of you, but I will say this:
Yeah.
I've never had anyone ever do that. I mean, it was very nice.
I
And,
mean, look, now it's like you got to take money. You got to take money. It's not that like I'm not rich and I don't have like my family's not wealthy, but like in certain situations, like the idea of just taking money from something where it all fell apart and it was kind of your fault. Like I looked at that gig. That's my point. Is that like it fucking sucks when you get in this situation because they'll just blame you.
right.
But like putting you on a truck bed in the middle of a fucking tractor pull field in front of 12 people on bleachers 100 feet away is entirely that fucking festival.
And I wasn't getting paid.
And you weren't
I'm
getting
joking.
paid.
I was getting paid.
Well, also like, and this guy who hired me.
Wait, no, I have a question
What?
about him. You said as you were leaving that he was like angry. Do you think he was just angry that people weren't listening to you and the party didn't go that way, or he was actually mad at you?
I think he was 40% mad at me.
Yeah.
40% mad at himself because I could tell from the moment I arrived that he realized it was a bad idea, but he had already committed.
I guess.
Right.
I guess the only thing you did wrong is
And 20% mad at just the fact that I had some fucking integrity and was just like, nah, man. And he was like, no, God damn it, money. Money's the only thing. He's clearly like, look, if this guy ever hears a podcast, I'm sure he's a nice dude. His dad was a nice enough guy. They seem like a nice family. But if you want to have a fucking birthday party comedy show in New York City, Manhattan, go to a fucking comedy club. There are 14 of them.
Yeah.
They'll all take your money and give you professional comedy as well that you can't override with drunkenness.
But not
yeah.
to blow smoke up your ass, but I do think some of it comes from the fact that you are a great comic and you can do well in very weird situations.
I guess,
so
but like,
you feel like you. Some comics are like, some comics are like, I'm going to do well if it's a good situation, and if it's not, fuck it. But I think because you can do well in a lot of crazy places.
Yeah, but
so in the moment you feel like, ooh, you could have cracked the code somehow. But I think the only fault of yours was just that not fault, but that you maybe didn't tell them beforehand to have a list of rules on how to do it. Maybe.
But that's the problem was that it came through my agent at the time. All these things were like, oh, this guy understands what's going on.
Yeah.
And I talked to him on the phone a few days before, and he's like, and the way he described it, it was just going to be me with a microphone in a room. He made it sound like everyone understood what they were going to be.
So it's your
part of.
agents, yeah, it's your agents.
But it wasn't my agent. The guy, no, the dude.
The guy, yeah.
Like when I talked to him on the phone, he made it sound like, no, everyone who's coming knows it's happening. Because I've also been in that situation where I've done private events where everyone's aware comedy's going to happen, and it turns out to be all right. Because
Yeah.
they'll stop it. Because that's the one thing, like, you have to stop and watch. You have to. It's like, and it's like, you can't, if you're a chef, you can't fucking cook a meal for someone if people keep walking up and grabbing the ingredients from you and just shoving it in their mouth and be like, make the meal. And you're like, well, stop fucking eating my ingredients.
Right.
Like, sit down and let me fucking cook this for you.
You're part of it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
part of it. Yeah.
And like, it just hurt. And I mean, like, I know right now, fucking smallest violin in the world. Oh, poor comedian has to deal with the occasional fucking rough, weird night. But you know what? Like, I'm done with that argument because the motherfucker who says that to me has clearly never put anything on the line in their fucking life ever.
Well,
so they don't
If you had a
understand
bad day at
what
work,
it's like to
everyone
fucking.
can understand that.
But they don't understand what it's like to like put yourself out there constantly for years and have shit like this happen. And occasionally a bad thing happens. Fuck you if you're that person.
Well, it's an existential moment. I've had it too, where I've done an ambush show at a bar where no one's
yeah,
listening.
those
You're
are
like,
rough.
and no one's listening, and I'm there, and I'm like, I didn't go on stage. I didn't choose a career where I go on stage with a microphone for people not to listen. I did it for people to listen independently. So when no one's listening, you're like, this is the exact opposite of what I was doing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's weird. You're like, I'm in a position for people to listen, and no one's listening. So it does put you in a weird existential place.
That's funny. That's why I started doing comedy. Is I was playing music and I had these silly songs. And when you play music in a bar, no one listens to you. It's like it's a sometimes paid rehearsal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tune it out. Yeah. So,
And I started singing funnier songs, and I noticed that people would like shut the fuck up and listen. And I was like, oh, this feels better.
yes.
Yeah,
But then when
yeah.
they don't listen, it's like
It
this weird
sucks. Yeah.
perverted. You're perverting the whole thing we
It's
did.
almost like
you
it's
know?
not comedy anymore.
Yeah.
It is
But
funny.
you know that sucks. I wish you felt good enough to like take the money afterwards because it wasn't your fault.
Well, I did. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
did eventually
Yeah.
deposit the money, but like,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're
I worry if she wasn't there, you would have thrown away. the
I
show.
would have. I would have. I would have. If
Well,
I
what
would
did
have.
you do that with that money? Did you buy a horse named Rosie?
I did not buy. I should have bought a horse named Rosie and, just put a bow on it and just brought it to that guy's house and been like,
Here's a horse.
here you go. Here's a horse. That's what you wanted for the party, was something for people to stare at and think was adorable.
Isn't it funny how you're angry at him and you think he's a fuck up, but also deep down you think it's completely your fault?
Yeah. But I only say all this because I wanted to bring it back around to your story. Like, did you leave that like, fuck, like hating?
No, this is the story of me doing well in that situation.
Oh, you did do it. Yeah.
I don't think you heard me. Four hands.
Four hands out of 12. Yeah.
Friend of the crowd, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had shows like that, but this was a show. No, this was too ridiculous.
Yeah,
This was so ridiculous. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah.
when I do it on stage and I tell the story, I act like it was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But the truth is, your thing is just upsetting. Like, your thing is very upsetting.
Yeah.
This was like this was entertaining to me.
be a part of.
Because-
Yeah, you're
yeah.
on a pickup
If you-
truck.
yeah.
There's people on bleachers. It's just so
Well, yours
ridiculous.
would have had
Yeah.
to be much worse for it to come back around and be funny again.
Right.
Where it's just a bad.
Also,
but yours
those people were so far away. It's almost like they weren't there for me to bomb.
Right.
Like, you had
right.
people close not listening.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
looking me in the eyes.
Yeah, not listening. I had people far away, so it's like I felt like I wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't the same situation. But yeah, I mean, I've had those though. They're awful. You know what I mean?
Oh god.
But it is funny at the same time because you're like, and I'm not saying you shouldn't feel this way.
Oh yeah.
I feel the same way. But it is funny because you can look at it like that, and then you can also look at it another way where you got paid a shit ton of money to just talk for 15 minutes.
I mean, no, that is.
And I'm not
true.
saying you shouldn't.
You know
but
what?
it is funny how we stand-ups look at it one way. I guess it means we're dedicated to the
Yeah.
craft, but
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
funny
yeah.
how like it's actually really easy. You're just talking for
Yeah.
15 minutes.
I know, dude, but it's so fucked, dude. Like I'm such a karma guy
Yeah.
that I'm just like, there's no way you get away from a situation like that scot-free.
Yeah.
But then I guess the pain and the
did
agony
it.
of
Yeah.
being like, fuck,
You
was
brought it on
worth
yourself.
the 20 grand.
well,
you
also
know?
the car.
No.
Shut the fuck
No,
up.
no. no.
What if you
No.
$100,000, worst $1 million I ever
Yeah.
made.
so mad at you if you tried to remember
No, I don't-
$20,000.
If it was really that much money, I would have let you beat the shit out of me. It was
How
not-
much was it? Just say.
It was $2,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like.
Yeah,
No, I'm not
paid rent that month, you know. But
I'm
like,
not saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel that way, but it is interesting, like
yeah.
how other people would not. It's just like just talk.
And actually, I'm saying that to anybody who's listening to this, who's an up and coming comedian. Like, if you're gonna do a private event, do not take less than $2,000.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
a chance that it might be fucking hell, and the person who's throwing it has a lot of money, but not a lot of understanding.
How much money would it have taken for you not to feel bad at all afterwards? That's what I'm interested in.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I would think, because I'll be honest,
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
2000, I would have
No,
been skipping down the
I
street.
guess,
But, you know,
I guess that's the point. That the amount,
no amount?
the amount is what made me feel bad.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like the more, if it was more, I'd have felt fucking worse.
I see what you're saying, because
see what I'm saying?
they
Yeah,
took
yeah.
the mic away from you. So
Because I just felt
you-
like I completely fucking failed.
feel like you're
and they still, and I feel like I
stealing
stole.
from them?
Yeah. It's like-
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You
Like
feel
if I'd have stayed up there for an hour and some people would have laughed and some wouldn't have, and it would have just been like it'd have been like that. I'd be like, well, fuck, I did my job though.
Yeah.
I did my fucking job.
Isn't it
But
funny that we have to feel like we have to work
Yeah.
really hard to make money? Like
Yeah.
if we get money from something easy,
Yeah.
we don't feel like we deserve it.
the truth is, if I'd have been up there for an hour and it had still gone shitty, I'd have been like, $2,000's not enough. I'm fucking.
Yeah, you
I'm
earned it.
Yeah,
You
but like
earned
with the way it went, it was just like, nah. If it was more money, I'd have felt worse.
You're basically telling that guy,
Yeah.
let me be up here on the cross for an hour. Let me feel the pain so I can earn this money.
I mean, like, whatever. I just also, like, I'm fucking, in the past few years, it took a while, I'll admit that, but, like, I'm very grateful for what I have, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do some shit.
Yeah.
And so situations like this also challenge that in a way where it makes you feel like, God damn it, like, I'm so upset over this, where out there somewhere is someone who would fucking gladly go through the exact same
Which
thing
makes
for
you
this
feel
money,
worse.
which makes you feel even
worse.
fucking
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, and it fucks with your head. And again, I know these are very champagne. I'm not going to call them champagne. These are prosecco problems.
But
right?
no, but you're not
You know?
coming at it from you're coming at it from a place where you feel like you're stealing from them. So you weren't
Yeah.
coming at it from a place where you're like,
No.
you weren't like being ungrateful.
Yeah, I don't
If
feel like
anything, you're being too grateful.
Yeah, but that's just, I don't know. It's like it's ridiculous because I know fucking I've heard stories from way more successful comedians about doing way bigger corporate gigs.
Oh yeah, Jim
Where-
Jeffries has
Yeah.
his last one about doing like Mariah Carey's birthday party.
Oh,
Yeah. And but made
and,
a lot of
Bird has
money.
one too. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
made way more than $2,000.
Yeah.
Made $2,000 for every minute. Made $2,000 for every syllable.
Well,
But,
but
you know.
I guess it's always important to remember how much you struggled in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so there's such struggle in the beginning that a lot of this is kind of just making up.
I know,
for-
right?
Making
Yeah.
up for lost time.
This is reparations.
Yeah,
Stuff like,
I mean,
yeah.
you realize most people like make, when they start a job, they make a decent amount of money right away. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we're poor for so long, so
Yeah.
it really does even out.
I guess so. Yeah.
Unless
I mean,
you're rich, then it goes.
Hopefully.
But
Yes.
at a certain point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what's so fucking crazy now because like you get so many comedians who talk about who've been doing comedy for 2 years and talk about spot pay.
Yeah.
and you're like, what the fuck? You gotta be good to get that done.
Right. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, when I came
What are
to
you talking about?
when I came to New
Yeah.
York, I was like,
So now you just have to be able to get on a show to get paid.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
when
You
I
know?
came to New York, I was I think I was 32,
Yeah.
33, and I had the exact level of impatience to get shit
Right.
that people who are literally just started comedy a year in.
Right.
We're both like, it's time
Wow.
for us to do late night. You know what I mean?
Dude, like I swear to you, dude, like I never even thought about money till after I did Montreal.
Yeah.
Like and I'd been doing comedy for like 6 years before I did Montreal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, money. Oh yeah, I can get paid to do this.
It's more
That's
like
it.
you're reminded.
Yeah, it was like
Or like, oh yeah, money.
yeah. I'm still trying to be like to me it was like you have to first and foremost you have to be good at this.
Yeah, I always
That's
thought,
all
yeah.
that matters.
I always
first.
saw it like,
Yeah, you got to be good at it and then worry about
that needs to come first.
you
so
be
much more
good and then
importantly.
worry about everything else. And like, I think barely any new comedians think that way. I think it's a lot.
entitlement is
I think it's a
crazy.
lot of like, no, I need to get my spot pay, and I'm gonna have a Netflix special by year 5. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah. I always like felt like I was not ready for shit. And I think that's like, I don't know. But now everyone's like demanding to be too ready. But
but whatever, dude. That's
we're greater people. and
ride the
we're-
bubble till it bursts, and then have a parachute.
Yeah.
You
right.
know, and make that parachute your craft.
Yeah.
You know. Sorry,
Whatever.
we're just rambling now.
Coronavirus is gonna kill it. Stop all the clubs anyway. Doesn't matter. Maybe
Uh-huh.
it'll thin out the herd though a little.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe, but
herd
not
of-
to where anyone dies. Just to where like, what if it's like, it proves that it's just a hoax, and it's a mental thing, and it's people who are just too afraid to be around. It's like a form of xenophobia.
Yeah.
So we just keep on telling like the coronavirus is out
Right.
here,
The-
and just
yeah.
keeping the idiots at home, and we're all enjoying life.
Maybe Trump's right. Maybe it is a hoax. It's a hoax. It's really gone too far. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
people are really committing to this. Yeah.
It's killed thousands of people.
Hey, where can your audience find you? Or
Where can your audience
Yeah.
find me? Where can
Where can
People
any
find
we
you?
audience?
pretend your audience might be
Where
interested in
can
me?
any audience find Raanan Hershberg?
When does this come out?
Probably
2
2
weeks
weeks from now. Yeah.
Okay, I'll still have a career by then.
Yeah, you will.
hopefully.
You'll be
And,
great.
So you can listen to my album that just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin did the beautiful artwork.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
downhill ever since. It's on, Spotify, iTunes.
Listen to it. It's a banger.
It's a banger, and I mean, I got my all my show dates on my website. But you just go to Instagram at RAANAN Comedy. Just give me a follow on Instagram or Twitter. It's at RAANAN Comedy.
Yeah.
Do it.
And go watch his recent late night spot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
go
that
watch
was
it.
Conan? Corden?
Corden.
Corden, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Raanan's one of the tops, one of the brightest, one of the
Yeah.
best. And what a beautiful beard.
You too, man.
Check him out. Check
You
us
too.
out.
Your beard is great. Caitlin is wonderful. And
Yeah.
I'm really trying to
And
go.
as someone with and really, as the three lispers,
yeah.
remember everyone.
We're coming
if-
out with our albums, our bluegrass album soon, the Three Lispers.
Right. It's not that it's a speech impediment. It's that we're too good at talking.
Too good at talking.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Caitlin here. You guys know that I like to end every episode with a song. This one I wrote before the world went to shit. Now I would love to be invited to a party to perform. I'd love to be able to safely say, just go to a comedy club, but you can't anymore. So, I don't know, live stream comedy? I don't know. Here's the song.
If you throw someone a party and invite a comic to perform, just know that comic hates you. They're only doing it for the money. That's the rule. There are exceptions, but just go to a comedy club.